Imagine a world where roads heal themselves, where traffic lights learn from drivers, and where flying sensors inspect bridges to help keep us safe. That world isn't a distant future. It's happening now, thanks to InfraTech. I'm here today to talk about how technology is transforming infrastructure and how AIIB's InfraTech Portal is helping us deliver practical solutions. But let me start with why. In line with our thematic priority of technology-enabled infrastructure, AIIB promotes both the adoption and development of infrastructure technologies, or InfraTech. But what is InfraTech exactly? Let me show you some examples. Surveying a 3-acre piece of land by foot will take you about 6 to 8 hours. By using a drone, you can do it in 5 minutes. Smart traffic lights can reduce travel times by 26%, getting you home quicker and reducing CO2 emissions. And traditional asphalt requires constant repairs, which disrupts commutes, and it's costly. But by using self-healing materials, you can cut maintenance costs by 75%. InfraTech can increase efficiency, sustainability, safety, and much more. But despite these clear benefits, infrastructure remains one of the sectors least benefiting from technology. Why? We've seen that among the key challenges is a critical information gap. A lack of information on what technologies are available, what is their value proposition, and where to get them. And to address this gap, we have built the InfraTech Portal. It's a digital platform that shares knowledge and brings together infratech providers, infrastructure developers, and investors. Let me show you what it looks like. So this is the homepage where you will see loads of infratech solutions. You can filter by sector. So let's say we filter within the energy sector on the subsector of electricity transmission and distribution, and then you'll see loads of relevant solutions. What do we mean by a solution? Let's say we click on one of these solutions, drone-based smart power line inspection. Now you land on a very long page with information on the solution, starting at the top with an overview of how the solution works and what challenges it addresses. Then when you scroll down, you see the benefits split between financial and environmental and social. And you scroll down a bit more, and then you see the technical components that you need to make this solution possible. And perhaps the most important thing, the case studies. These are real-life stories and examples of how certain companies applied a specific technology and showing what results they achieved through that. We also show what are the challenges when adopting the solutions, ways to mitigate them, and the future outlook. And when you click on one of the companies, you can find more information that they have on the InfraTech Portal. You can get in contact with them, or you can go to their website to learn more. Currently, the InfraTech Portal hosts more than 1,150 companies and solutions from around the world. And users and organizations from across sectors have been using the portal since we launched last year. But don't just take my word for it. In a moment, you will hear from 2 InfraTech Portal users. One is an InfraTech company who is rapidly expanding their business across Asia, and one is from AIIB's own investment projects, leading an innovative and technology-focused project. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Nicolas Migavals from Oris.
Morning, everyone. Each project is unique, right? And that's what makes our industry so special. Every project has its own location, its own practice, its own understanding even. And here is what we call the impossible equation. So many parameters to combine together, and more are coming in the last years, more and more. Alignment with Paris Agreement, natural resources, road safety, adaptation, mitigation, you name it. It makes it very complex. It's adding complexity and constraints to the project management. Digitization is here to support, and it's a game changer because through this digitization, we have actually the opportunity to tackle two challenges of the industry. One is the digital transformation, and one is the ecological transition. I'm Nicolas Miravals. I'm CEO and co-founder of Oris after 30 years of experience in the industry, construction, materials, consulting, and really willing now to bridge this gap, this information gap that was mentioned earlier. Oris is at the crossing of three expertises. One is constructions and materials, one is environmental science and engineering, and last but not least, obviously, digital and tech capacities. I will get a few examples. Did you know, for example, that materials are so important for construction and transportation projects? Did you know that they will impact 60% of the cost, depending on their location, their properties, their transport? Did you know that this will impact also 80% of the carbon emission of your project? So having this equation from material standpoint right from the beginning is absolutely crucial. Furthermore, can you imagine that having preliminary studies and early assessment can cut your carbon emission by 50%, just making the right assumptions at the beginning of the project? You can also have 80% on natural resources savings or 15% in cost. And this is leading us to the fast tracking in climate finance, because those cost reductions are not just for savings, those are for targeting this finance to new needs, to further improvement of the project with adaptation, mitigation, road safety, or Paris alignment. This needs additional funding. I will get through a few examples. In Uzbekistan, we were working with AIIB under the lead of Mr. Pawan Karki, and that was the project that really was transformational for the project and transport approach. And those were numbers that we observed: 17% on carbon, 30% on raw materials and circularity, 5 million liters of water. That was 1.5 years of the local village consumption, and 10% in cost as well. Again, in Uzbekistan, 7,000 kilometers to prioritize where to go, where to put the finance, where are the most important sections and nodes here. And we were able to, through the data analysis and the climate exposure and the different parameters, pinpoint on 25% of this network, serving 30% of the population. Again, on climate, now we are in Africa, in Cameroon, with AIIB, and here the project was about screening 19 different climate risks and make sure that we will focus properly on the right adaptation measures. So out of the 700 portfolio of adaptation measures, we could pinpoint on 33, and finally 5 were carrying most of the risk, and that was also given by a good and a proper data analysis. And finally, I will mention this project with UNIDO, UN agency in Ivory Coast. We are running with them a program called Roads for People. Roads for People is how do we use tech for social. Thanks to project optimization and road network optimization, we pour these optimizations to rural roads and agricultural roads. And this is really rebalancing the road financing channels. So you understood, roads, rail, project, network, no specific geographies. This is what digital can bring to the picture. And that's really important to have this opening, because from the uniqueness of the project that we saw at the beginning, you can see a kind of standardization of the practice here. So be our next project. And here I want to thank AIIB for this InfraTech Portal, and congratulations for setting this up. We are one of many. There are plenty of solutions, and those solutions are making your project definitely faster, and those are making your project sharper as well. Thank you.
Good morning. So my name is Julia, and I work in AIIB's investment operations team for Region 2. Our team is covering sovereign-backed financing solutions in China, Central Asia, and North Africa. Over the past year, our team has used the InfraTech Portal in multiple instances to inform project discussions and design work. When public stakeholders decide on complex infrastructure solutions, often under pressure, with constrained time and budgets, technology is not just a buzzword. It's something that comes up over and over again. What is out there? Who has done this before? What are the risks? How do we get started? The InfraTech Portal provides easily accessible answers to those questions and has become a tool that helps to translate these buzzwords into practical design choices with real-world examples and lessons. I want to give you an example from our work. Right now, our team is working on what we call a smart urban transformation project in a third-tier municipality here in southwest China. The project covers multiple areas. It modernizes water infrastructure using digital twins and early warning systems in order to detect water leaks and manage climate shocks. We are trying to reduce traffic congestion using AI-powered traffic forecasting, and we are rolling out electric buses, a new bus depot, and a smart parking system. And finally, and most importantly, we set up a central digital hub, what is called a city brain, which will eventually integrate all public departments and roll for consolidated data access, better public service delivery, and to roll out the city's first carbon accounting system. The plan is ambitious, and it wasn't developed with some of China's most visionary urban planners. The InfraTech Portal has played a very central role during this design stage of this program. It helped us to benchmark solutions, to validate vendor technologies, and also to compare it with case studies that gave confidence to local stakeholders that this is something that could work. I want to contrast this with another reality. I hope you please imagine yourself not in this auditorium, but in the shoes of a political leader in a fragile economy. You are not just managing a ministry, you are firefighting on all fronts. You're in your early 40s, probably you've spent the most of the last decade managing a loss-making SOE. Your country relies on the export of a few raw materials, and after the recent economic downturn, your forex reserves barely cover a few weeks of imports. Youth unemployment stands at 60%. Protests are mounting. You may not win over the opposition during the election in the coming year. A development bank arrives with a proposal. An energy distribution project that features smart meters, digital platforms, and real-time energy usage monitoring. It promises to connect an additional 30% of your population to the national grid and improve the national utilities cost recovery immensely. You see the promise of such a sophisticated solution, but also the time and cost implications. You hesitate. Not because you don't believe in digital solutions or you don't believe in innovation, but because every decision you make has huge political implications. Digital platforms seem to belong into another reality. Your team lacks the skills, and in so many other contexts, you have seen technology fail or unable to scale. That's what I believe the InfraTech Portal is not just a showcase. It's a knowledge and trust builder, a way to move from abstraction to real life stories and actionable imagination. Back to our project in China. We won't start with the most ambitious AI plan here. Through site visits, stakeholder consultations, and co-design, we decided to prioritize solutions that bring fast wins and quick visibility, like smart parking and flood alerts. At a later stage, we hope to expand these to more complex systems, all while training locals how to use these tools themselves. We hope this project can maybe one day also become a case study in the InfraTech Portal and be featured to motivate other cities in similar setups to apply similar technologies. So if you are working on technology-enabled urban, transport, energy, or water infrastructure solutions, I encourage you to explore the InfraTech Portal. Because when we actually bridge the gap between the challenges we face today and the future we imagine, I believe real-life stories are very, very powerful assets. Thank you, and I look forward to working with some of you in the future.
Thank you, Nicola and Julia. I hope that provides a better view on why AIIB built the InfraTech Portal, what it is, and how it adds value. Now let's keep the momentum going, explore the InfraTech Portal to build smarter and more sustainable infrastructure together. Thank you.